right, good morning and welcome to this weekend's edition of the program on this first weekend of the new month. And we are going to, well, your basic two birds, one stone. By the way, I'm not referring to either one of you two lovely ladies that are joining me on the program.
Should we be tweeting, Art?
I know, I should be breaking out Rockin' Robin or something. Anyway, Carmela Gear is here, Carm, as a lot of you already know, but if you don't, she is the director of Newport's Edward King House, and also, along for the, no pun intended, ride.
You got it.
Is Barry Freeman.
That's right. Our friend Barry Freeman is here today.
You are actually, I'm not sure what you're the founder, the president, the executive director, CEO, all that of Bike Newport.
Bike Newport. We'll stick with executive director. Thanks for having me here. I'm thrilled to be here.
But nice to have you both here this morning. And look, I don't want to, because we're going to tell you about all the great things coming up during the month of May at the Edward King House specifically. So I don't want to, change direction here in the middle of the program. So let me get this out of the way now. And I want to start with you, Barry, just an overview of Bike Newport, because you still have a relatively short history locally, but boy, have you done an awful lot.
Yeah, it's a very busy organization. Bike Newport was conceived of in 2011. So
yeah.
we're in our fourth year, approaching our fifth year. And there's an awful lot going on, and it's because of the support and the interest in the community. So the city and the police and the schools and the businesses are all involved. The tourism industry are all involved in improving and encouraging, which is our mission. Our mission is to improve and encourage the situation and get more people on bikes. And it's recreational, it's also transportation. Newport is a very small town. It's very easy to get just about anywhere, either walking or biking. It's better for us, it's better for the environment, it's better for our historic preservation. It reduces wear and tear, and it makes everybody smile a lot more. It's a great way to experience the city. So there's a lot of interest in supporting biking and walking as new modes of transportation, as active modes of transportation, which Carmela is very familiar with in her work with the Edward King House. We really want to get people of all ages more actively transporting themselves. We don't need to be in a car to go a mile.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the distance anywhere in town is under 2 miles. So That's why Bike Newport is doing well, because people want it, and we're here to do everything we can to make it happen and to make it a safer situation and a more fun situation and a more collaborative situation, because we're all on the streets together, bikers, walkers, cars.
That's right, and especially for where we're located at the Edward King House. Good morning, Art.
Hi, Carl.
How are you? Because of where we're located at the Edward King House, we really do sometimes feel we're in the center of the Newport universe. So you could invariably walk to or bike to the Edward King House, park your bike, lock it up, and go to the library, go to Parks and Rec, play a game of tennis, come have lunch at the Edward King House, walk across the street and go shopping, and end up with dessert at any one of our local eateries that surround the entire complex, or the campus as we call it, at Aquidneck Park. So the partnership between the Edward King House and Bike Newport is really a natural one. From my end, I'm not only concerned with ensuring that our senior population continue to remain physically active as well as emotionally active, but that they're safe when they're on the road as well. I would much rather, especially with the weather being so much better now, see our members and our senior folks within the community being able to, stroll and run if they choose to run, or ride their bikes throughout the community, but to be able to do so in a safe manner keeps them healthy on two fronts. So it's a natural progression that the two of us should be working together, which is why we're here today.
And for the sake of full disclosure, once again, these programs are pre-recorded just in case anybody wants to know why Barry isn't out there on her bike right now on one of the four bridges, because as you're hearing this on the 2nd of May on WADK radio at 8 o'clock in the morning, the Four Bridges ride is already underway. So I just want to clear that up in case anybody wanted to know. Yeah, you now, and Carm, you just alluded to the safety issue,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that has been a very, I mean, that was front and center when Bike Newport first got up and running here locally, and unfortunately, one of the reasons was because we had two very tragic accidents relatively close together involving bikers locally, and people seem to be really heeding the message.
Yeah, absolutely. And, a big part of what we do, Bike Newport has kind of three areas of concentration. One is to focus on the infrastructure and making sure that we have roads and amenities to support bicyclists. That's the bike lanes and the shared lanes and bike racks and things of that nature. The second is education, which is helping people get over that hump, which is what keeps people from riding, of feeling safe and feeling confident that they know where to be on the road and how to ride on the road and how to interact with cars. Because unfortunately, on Aquidneck Island, we don't have any place that we can ride without cars. So if we're riding with cars. And most of us are both bicyclists and drivers. It's the same people. Motorists and cyclists are the same people. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about this whole courtesy thing that we need to boost a little bit between the two, patience and courtesy, and also encouragement. And part of the encouragement is education. And we can sit down with any group that gets together. Call your friends together, get 8 people together, and we're going to sit down with you. We being Bike Newport instructors. We'll sit down with you and talk about and answer all of your questions about where to be on the road, how to ride with cars, how to communicate with everybody else on the road, and then go out and take a spin together. Carmel and I have already been talking about doing this with any group that gets together at the Edward King House. We have special classes that we call pre-ride and roadside just for women at our bike garages, so that women can get together without the guys around, talk about the basics of bike skills, but also find out and learn how to change our flats, put our chains back on, adjust our brakes, whatever we need to do to feel secure on the road, that we're not going to be lost if something happens. I just biked over here down Broadway. It was like jello brain by the time that I got here from the bouncing on. And I was on a bike with wheels that could handle all the gravel on the road. But we have to be prepared. Right. That preparation is a big piece of it. The third,
that's actually a teaser, friends, that there will be programming coming up at the Edward King House in conjunction with Bike Newport with regards to preparation and safe riding and just the sheer enjoyment of being able to ride your bike again for some of us. When you're only traveling less than a mile anywhere within the city, where do you put your car? The wear and tear on your car, it becomes such a confusing element. And we just had a little get together last night at the King House, and I looked outside the door, the entrance to the building, and thought, I got to ask Barry for a bike rack because we need to have a place where the bikes can safely go. But
yes, we do.
It doesn't cost you anything to lock up your bike to a community bike rack. It doesn't. It doesn't cost you anything, and it's of benefit to you.
No,
so
it doesn't. And even coming here this morning, I was at my desk 5 minutes before airtime, and the fastest and easiest way for me to get here from North Broadway to the station was to pop on my bike, zip down here, lock up, and jump in the studio. I didn't have to think about parking. Mm-hmm. And when I do have to think about parking, I kind of break out in hives because I don't know how to do it in this city. It's just
you and the rest of us, absolutely.
It's so much easier with the bike.
And I think what may have discouraged a lot of people from biking more than they are now is the fact that there were no bike racks around. People really had, that you don't want to go out and just leave your bike with nothing to lock it to outside of a shop or something downtown. And another thing too, people have really taken advantage of that particular situation at the larger events that have been in Newport, one of which we're on the verge of now with the big the Volvo Ocean Race event.
And we'll be there, and we're encouraging people to bike down. We had, close to 1,200 people in a day at the Folk Festival. It was brilliant.
That was astounding.
It was astounding. It was brilliant, and it was great fun for the people who were biking who didn't have to deal with the parking and the long exit. And we'll have the same thing with the Volvo. We'll be set up there with bike racks. I do want to comment also that as we're getting ready for the Broadway streetscape, that bike racks are part of that streetscape.
That's right.
So we're going to see them along the stretch of Broadway, and we've got a whole slew of bike racks coming in, enough for 40 bikes at Thompson Middle School. We're working to get our kids biking as well, and to support them with the respect they need at the end of the ride to be able to tie up their bikes to
That's
a real
fantastic.
rack. And locking is very, very important. We need our bikes to be safe. We also have taken over registration for the city for bikes, so anybody can go to our website, register their bike online. We'll send them the sticker. And what that does is it deters theft. People who see bikes with the license registration number on it know that it's trackable, know that somebody cares about the bike, and they're less inclined to mess with that bike. So we encourage everybody to register their bikes. And by the way, if I can, the website for all of this is bikenewportri.org. And you'll find all of this information there, including about our classes. And as for the women's class, we do have one this coming Monday, May 4th. And again, I think it's on June 1st. And that's great fun. And all of those classes take place at the Bike Garage down at Rogers.
And for our listeners out there who still think that riding bikes is for kids and college-age students, the truth of the matter is you'd be very surprised to see how many folks bike in and out of the Edward King House on a daily basis. There's no age that's connected to biking.
Fantastic.
And certainly to walking, throughout the community.
I can vouch for this because our ridership, swings north of 50, north of 60, north of 70. People have more time to ride. They have more time to devote to it as they get older. And so we have a lot of very active people on bikes of all ages. And we're very happy to help people get over any of their concerns and feel more confident on the road so that they can do that. We do know that 60% of people would bike if they had that confidence. 60% of people who don't bike would bike if they had that confidence.
And so that's our
we're here
goal,
help
is to
that
increase
happen.
those numbers of folks who are indeed doing that for 1,000,001 reasons. It's not just the parking thing. To be able to enjoy our community the way we really should be. And there's a time factor, there's a parking factor, there's an economic factor, there's a health factor. The list goes on and on. So indeed, it's well worth our while to encourage our friends and family. And, I use the word family as well. That is it a kid thing? Yeah, it is a kid thing. It's also an adult thing, and it is a senior thing, and how awesome it would be to be able to ride with your grandchildren or ride with your kids. And we see it in Aquidneck Park every day. The kids come along with their bikes, or they're traveling from the library on up or back down again to Spring Street on their bikes. And it's not just the kids. It's grandparents as well. They may not necessarily be biking together, but they are biking. And I think it's a really important build up for the city itself, especially for the residents here. You can't do it year round. We live in New England, but for the time when you can do it, get out there, enjoy the sunshine and the good health aspect.
There's a wonderful event coming up that's a great chance for families, like the whole range, the whole multi-generational range of everyone. It's the Father's Day ride on June 21st. It's our third Father's Day ride. It's the Elliott Kamenetz Father's Day ride. It honors a grandfather, father, husband who we lost on the roads of Newport by Memorial, by Easton's Beach. And there are 6, 10, and 25-mile options, as well as a harbor walk. But the 6-mile option, which is half of the Ocean Drive loop, is completely coned off, separated from traffic, and escorted by the police. This is where we see a lot of people, a lot of young kids, a lot of older parents and grandparents going out on the road together for the first time on the Ocean Drive, because it's protected, because everybody's riding together. Right. It's a fabulous family event to ride along the ocean, not worry.
Bikes only.
No, there are cars, but it's coned off.
It's
the
coned
road
off,
does not,
right.
Please,
But
the road does not get...
I apologize.
The road will not be closed, but it will be protected, and the police are there with us. We are such wonderful partners with the Newport Police Department in so many regards, and this is one of them. Father's Day Ride, June 21st, fathersdayride.org. That's all you need to know. Head over there, register. We're doing everything we can to make this event available to anybody who wants to ride. So if somebody feels that they can't afford the registration for any reason, there's going to be a box that people can check off to please waive my registration fee. Registration fees support our educational program. We ask people to pay the registration. If there's any reason not to, somebody else will make it up. And you go ahead and sign up, and we want you to be there with your kids, with your family. Let's get everybody from this community out on the road on Father's Day.
How
make it
wonderful.
a wonderful morning, a wonderful statement about how much we care about creating a situation where we can all ride our bikes safely. And ultimately, we will get those protected places. We are working towards bike paths on Aquidneck Island. It's crazy that we don't have one. We, Bike Newport, that's our mission, is to go for those things and to ask everybody's support in helping us to talk with the powers that be about getting a bike path here. But in the meantime, we're on the road. And so we as a community also have to do what we can to be safer together on the roads.
And like you said, a lot of people that bike, Barry, also, drive cars. And so, it seems like, a lot of narrow streets in Newport, and your neck of the woods, Carm, up there is Spring Street.
Absolutely.
But drivers and bikers can coexist, and it just takes a little cooperation.
Good point.
Between the two.
It's cooperation, it's courtesy, and it's also agreeing to follow the rules. We need bicyclists to ride the right way on those narrow streets. We need cars to be patient. When a bicycle has the right to be in the middle of the road, if a bicycle moves over to the right into the danger of a car door zone, or too far to the right that the car passes without really leaving enough room, that's not a good thing. The cars have to be patient while the bicyclist is where they're allowed to be. And the bicycle has to go in the right direction and be on the road and not on the sidewalk. So we all have to follow these rules together. So if I have time, I can introduce this initiative that's in place. Newport, as a city, was the recipient of federal funds from the Safe States program, which recognized 2 cities in every state to give these mini grants, and the 2 cities are the 2 cities that have the highest number of fatalities of pedestrians and cyclists. And so we got this grant because we have the highest number of fatalities. That's a problem. Yeah. It's a problem that is not a coincidence. We have to improve the situation on the roads. We've lost 3 pedestrians, 3 bicyclists. This is happening because we're not paying enough attention. So the funding came to the city of Newport. There are 3 parts to the program for improving the situation, reducing the number of incidents, and improving the safety. And one is that the police department is working on more training for enforcement and encouragement of road sharing. The second is that the Bicycle and Pedestrian Commission is reviewing ordinances in the city to make recommendations to the city to improve the laws to be more clear and more enforceable. And the third, which is why we were over at the Edward King House last night, is a wonderful program, a community awareness program to get everybody more aware of one another on the road and to improve safety on the roads. And basically what we're proposing is branding of courtesy. We're going to ask people on the street to do what comes naturally to many people, but not to everyone. We're going to be asking people in Newport, our residents and our visitors, to acknowledge one another before they step out into the road or before they ride out. So what does that mean? That means that we're going to wave. We're going to wave to one another. We're going to teach our kids, from our 4-year-olds to 94-year-olds, there's a crosswalk there. Before you step out, we want to make eye contact, but how do we know we made eye contact? We're going to wave. There's going to be a gesture, and you know what? With it is going to come a smile. And people, it's 2 sides of an equation. People are going to wave to one another. If I don't see you wave, I'm not stepping out into the road. And if I do see you wave, we've made a contact. And guess what? To wave, you got to look up. You can't be looking at your personal device. You can't be adjusting the radio. You can't be looking at the mansion on the side of the road. Looking at eye contact, waving, that's what it's all about. We're going to make sure that we acknowledge one another, call it common courtesy, call it whatever you want. We're going to start doing it here in Newport. And we're going to ask every resident in town to be a model of it so that when our visitors come, they'll also be doing it.
So it was really funny when Barry first came out with this idea with the rest of the group, and as she had stated at the meeting last night, this is a city project. And we all have a hand in it. So the Edward King House is certainly...
No pun intended.
Yeah, I know, no pun intended. I keep saying that over and over again. The Edward King House is behind this project 150%. And when Barry and I first talked about this, I had said to her, I do this all the time. This doesn't seem to... So I decided to test it on my own and, kind of went into the public to see how often other people were doing it. And because, again, I'm located in that very congested area of the city, turns out the thing that I do all the time, most people don't do. To just stop, make that eye contact, wave. It's okay for me to cross now, right? You're not going to hit me. that naturally the smile comes out because you've made that positive connection with someone, and then you cross the road or you let somebody else go by. We have a weird intersection on King Street and Jones in Newport. It doesn't, kind of looks like a parking lot, but it really is an intersection. You never really know when you can turn. There are a lot of children there because of the children's park. There's seniors who are crossing continually. It's kind of a weird thing. So even as I got through that intersection this morning to check in with work, I stopped. There was, another car. This is two cars, so it wasn't even a pedestrian or a biker. Two cars, one car wanting to take a turn. I was at the stop sign where I was supposed to be stopped. I still made eye contact with that other driver and waved them through so that they knew that I wasn't going to continue moving out of the stop sign. They had the right of way. I didn't, and still had that opportunity to make that connection. There's a really good feeling that comes from just saying hey to somebody you didn't know with a hand wave. So although it does sound like, we're kind of teaching common courtesy here, it's not so common anymore. We've kind of let it fall. So I think for the city as a whole, it's not just a safety thing. It's a people connection thing, when all is said and done, that we know you're here. I see you, and you see me. And we're going to be okay making that shift, that transition from wherever you happen to be to where you're trying to get to.
That's right. And as people come into our very, very busy season, and as our visitors come to town to enjoy everything, we're assuring them, you pay attention, you wave, we'll wave. Yes. I see you, you see me. And come into Newport waves. Use the wave to help make sure that you're safe on the streets and that you enjoy yourself.
That's right.
And I should also point out that Bike Newport, you are not a branch of city government. You are independent from the city. Correct.
We absolutely are. Just to clarify, as far as the Safe States campaign goes, that is a city project, and we're helping with that. That's not a Bike Newport project, but Bike Newport is our role in it is to help with this awareness campaign.
Well, the reason I point that out is because you've both of you have referenced the city on several occasions on the program so far, and I think that's important to point out just to give people an idea of how the city is embracing and recognizing the work that you folks are doing, and it's being received very positively by the folks across the way there in City Hall and beyond.
Absolutely, there's so much collaboration that goes on, and that's what happens when you have vibrant community organizations working with the municipal government. That's how things get accomplished. We're all in this together.
Yeah. Let me take a quick break. We're going to hold you two over, and we'll get back to our discussion about biking in Newport, and I want to get to some of your May events at the Edward King House. Carmela Aguirre is here. She is the director of the Edward King House, and Barry Freeman heads up Bike Newport. Again, terrific website. I was on it right before we started recording the program, bikenewportri.org, and tons of great information there. So anyway, hang on with us, and we'll be back in just a minute. All right, welcome back to the Derby Day edition of the program. Unless, of course, you're listening on our FM side. The new Mix 99.3, where Derby Day was yesterday. I hate this program being on two stations on two different days because I get completely confused. But anyway, we won't dwell on that. Joining us this weekend's edition of the program again is Carmela Aguirre, who's the director of the Edward King House in Newport, and the lady that heads up Bike Newport here in the city is Barry Freeman. Barry, before the break, you wanted to get to something. May is
Bike Month.
I'll be darned.
Are you surprised?
Isn't that
amazing?
We had 11 other chances to miss out on this. And we got you on the program on May 2nd. I'll be darned.
May 2nd. May is Bike Month. It's national. It's wonderful. There are things going on all over the country. And all kinds of
national.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's national. It's exciting. There's all kinds of challenges in place, and the big challenge is to get on your bike. Get on your bike.
Sure.
If you are a biker, bike more. If you're not a biker, now's the best time to try. And there's an awful lot going on right here in our neck of the woods. I'm not going to take the time to list everything, but it's an awful lot of fun. And I would just encourage everybody to go to our website, bikenewportri.org. The same Bike Newport RI for Facebook or Twitter. And you'll see all kinds of fabulous rides and workshops and events. The Bike Fest Rhode Island is taking place in May. And we're launching the second Bike Walk Challenge at Thompson Middle School, where our kids get really involved in challenging one another who bikes or rides the most. And this year the staff are being encouraged to do that. That's all through May and even into June. And May 15th is Bike to Work Day. That's the day where if you haven't done it before, get on your bike, get your friends to do it. There are events at Eisenhower Park in Washington Square all day, including starting from a commuter breakfast and ending the day with a group ride to the Volvo Ocean Race at Fort Adams. So everything is on bikenewportri.org. I can't thank you enough for giving us the chance to encourage people in this way.
Absolutely.
Get on your bike.
Get on your bike.
Now, again, how did the Edward King Center and Bike Newport, how did you two folks hook up? Because when we booked this, actually, to record this program, you said you were going to bring along, Barry Freeman from Bike Newport.
I met Barry actually with the Streetscapes project with the city some time ago, and that's really where our relationship kind of started. And I also had a number of members who kept, insisting, Carm, you need to get connected with Bike Newport because we bike. And it was important to them as well. So it's never been a little blip on the radar. It really is a big part of the health and wellness component with regards to our own mission at the Edward King House to keep folks as independent and active for as long as possible. So it was kind of a natural fit. And then the next thing you know, I got an invitation with regards to the Newport Waves project, and we've kind of been flowing ever since. The one thing that not-for-profits have, we never have money. Money never exists. So that we don't have, but what we do have are the components that allow our own organizations to run. So when Barry and I got together, I said, I don't have money to offer you, but I have people. I have volunteers, I have folks who bike, and I have a space.
Beautiful space.
And those are the things, absolutely. And those are the things that we can share. And if we, I think we found out a long time ago as not-for-profits that if we don't share our resources with one another and remain in a silo, the silo will eventually wither. But when we do connect to one another, almost like a spider web kind of thing, we know how strong a spider web can be. The more connected we are, the more that we have to offer our constituencies, and really the less work the individual has to do when you've shared the load. And that's what this whole piece is really about, that the energy that comes out of Bike Newport with regards to biking specifically and pedestrian traffic as well is a mission that we share at the Edward King House. Well, why would I want to take on the work of trying to promote all of that when Barry and her crew are already doing that? Let's work together and share our energy.
Right.
And
I'm
it
sitting
works.
here with an ear-to-ear grin on my face. I'm smiling so big because that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
It's just about collaboration. We're all in this together. It takes a village, all the above.
Yep.
The more that we work together, the more we accomplish.
And the more
so-
good that comes out of it
Exactly.
when all is said and done.
Exactly.
And
We hear that time and time again. And it isn't, Barry's over here doing her thing.
Right.
And Carm's over here doing her thing. And, and all the local nonprofits network so well and work so
Sure.
well together. And it's what makes them all effective.
It's a beautiful thing.
it really
It
is.
really is.
Last night at this meeting that Carmela keeps referring to, the YMCA was there, the Women's Resource Center was there, tourism is there, the police are there, superintendent of schools was there, the head of the PE department for the entire district was there, RIDOT was there,
City
Edward King
Council was there. We
City
were
Council.
there, yep.
This is the community coming together. I mean, it's the way we do things in Newport. It's the way that things are as effective, efficient, and productive and successful as they can be is because of this kind of collaboration.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Right.
recognizing that.
And it's a lot of brain power around the table. So imagine the problems that can be solved when you've got all of these different factions that are coming together. We all have our specific missions, whatever they happen to
Sure.
be. But when you put it all together, in the end, it's always about the community.
And like even Carmen, I mention this all the time when we have you on our monthly program here, that if somebody calls up the Edward King Center and asks you a question about whatever it might be, you may not have the answer, or you may not be able to provide them with any kind of direct assistance, but you can at least say to them, let me tell you who to talk to.
That's right.
And even if it's simply that, it's just it's a vital service.
And when that happens, you always you stay away from the single point failure. When you have the opportunity to connect people with the people who know what they're doing.
Yep.
So it's not about my being the expert on everything. I can't be the expert on everything, excuse me. If something happens to me and I am the expert on everything, then we've got what's called a single point failure. You lose that connection. But when I'm the conduit by which you get to the people who are the experts on any given subject, then if you remove me from the equation, those experts still exist, and it's easier to find the next person who's going to continue being that conduit. So it doesn't just land with one person, it becomes a big community piece, and the more people are connected to one another, the broader the horizon becomes, the more doors that are open to you.
Yeah.
Well said.
Thank you.
All right.
Kind of a morning person. Did you gather that, Barry?
All right. Well, listen. Let's preview the month of May for us, there, Carm, if you would. About
All right, my friend.
all the stuff happening at the Edward King Center. Always a busy place, no matter the time of year.
So if you're listening to us on Saturday, then today is Derby Day. Today is one of the biggest events for the Edward King House. We will be welcoming those 20 wonderful horses on a very large screen, and the wonderful folks who will celebrate that fantastic Kentucky Derby event, all to benefit the Edward King House and all of the wonderful programming that we have for our seniors. If you're listening to us on Sunday, then I am probably sleeping while this is airing, but would, on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Edward King House, would like to thank our sponsors for helping to put this wonderful event together. It starts with AARP, the Richard Sardella Trust, Dr. Anthony Regine, Alberta Picozzi, Marilyn Woolahoosian, Paul and Colette Bernard, Thomas and Phyllis Finn, Ann Gardella, Carol Sorrow, our friends from Newport Hardware, and from Sir Speedy Printing. Without them, this particular event wouldn't happen, and there's nothing more special than having an event where the women are dressed to the nines with the most beautiful hats you could possibly imagine, and the men in seersucker suits, live music, and dinner by Sardellas. It really doesn't get any better than that. In the end, the race doesn't end up being the forefront of it all. It kind of just is a part of the party, but a great celebration of all that the Edward King House has to offer to the community. So many thanks to everyone. It is fun. Want to come, Barry?
I think last year our friends from Newport Scene, that's SEEN,
Yes.
Were there and
We'll be there again. Are there this year?
and posted some pictures on their website, which oh man,
Yeah, lots of
dressed
fun.
to the nines,
Absolutely.
huh? Oh man,
It's a really great event. But May is also the beginning of our membership drive season. So if you are a new up-and-coming senior, and folks, I hate to break the news to you because there always seems to be a stigma attached to this, and for the life of me, I don't understand why. If you are age 50 and above, and I am a member, Art, you are a member, I think we have a few years for Barry.
Oh, bless your heart.
No? Barry will be a member. Now's the time to become a member of the Edward King House Senior Center. So much to offer, so much to really be engaged in. And even if you only do one event with us throughout the year, or you take one class, or you come in for one, resource help, that membership really does pay for itself. So we'll start collecting our renewals and our new memberships beginning May 1, so beginning this weekend. And it's
I'll be signing up tomorrow. Today.
$25 for the year.
There you go.
If you decide to wait until after July 30th, it goes up to $30. So we encourage you to certainly become a member during the membership drive.
Yeah, I realized the other day I am less than 2 years away from taking advantage of the $3 lunch price.
You are.
Just thought I'd point that out.
Yep. Just saying. And see, so it's not such a bad thing after all, is it? You know, one of the wonderful things about being over the age of 50, you know so much more now than you ever did before. And the things that used to bother you when you were 25 don't really matter.
There are a lot of things that are good about life after 50.
So we'll just start with that, and maybe we'll have another show about that at another time.
Let's
Absolutely. All right, let's see. What else is going on in the month of May? The Navy Choristers.
Oh.
If you've ever had the opportunity to go to a Navy Chorister concert, now is the time to go. If you've never done it before, this should be your first time. If you have, you know how wonderful this group of singers are. They will be performing on May 15th, the evening of May 15th, at St. Lucy's Church to benefit the Edward King House. Another wonderful partnership with this group. And this is another one of those really great family-friendly events, not just for seniors, it's for everybody. But bring the kids out as well. It's $10 adult admission, $5 if you're a senior, and $20 if you come with your family for your entire family. Really well worth the time. Fantastic music in a fantastic acoustic scene at St. Lucy's Church in Middletown. Please come and join us. You can get your tickets at the Edward King House, or you can pay for it at the door. And as always, all of our information on our website, www.edwardkinghouse.org.
I didn't realize you were the recipient of the May concert by the choristers at St. Lucy's. I've been to that concert many times.
So exciting.
Oh, and let me tell you something. They do a version of the Battle Hymn of the Republic. Mm-hmm. You'll be beating down the goosebumps.
Absolutely.
They are just a Joanne Lowenthal and Pat McGew and the whole group.
And the whole group, they're fantastic. And the theme for this concert is Proudly We Sing.
Yes.
So indeed, it's, runs in line with Memorial Day and all that the month of May has to offer. And I know it's going to be a fantastic show, and don't miss it. Really make sure that you're there for that one.
Yeah, they're a good group.
So Mother's Day is coming up fast and furiously now in the month of May, and we'll be celebrating Mother's Day ourselves on Wednesday, May 13th, with a pasta supper, complimentary flowers for our moms.
I remember that from last year.
Yeah. Yep, it's $5 per person, and, salad, pasta, dessert, and flowers for our moms, and some entertainment as well will be provided for that evening. Great opportunity to have dinner at the Edward King House.
Give me the date on that again.
May 13th, Wednesday, May 13th, from 6 to 7:30.
Prince Spaghetti Day to boot.
Prince Spaghetti Day.
All right.
And you know what? If we're really lucky, we'll even have an Anthony there.
Now I'm really dating myself.
In addition to that, it's also time for our annual spring luncheon on May 29th at noontime at the Atlantic Beach Club. That particular event is for our members and their guests. It's a $25 event fee, and it's one of those soup to nuts luncheons that only the Atlantic Beach Club could provide for us, with a choice of their famous baked stuffed scrod or their Atlantic chicken. So we certainly encourage our members and their guests to sign up for that wonderful event at the end of May.
And if you're lucky, our buddy Bill Barrett might be even one of the barkeeps that day. Who knows?
Absolutely. On a less recreation side and a more serious side, our diabetes support group will be meeting on, as they usually do, on the third Thursday of the month, Thursday, May 14th, at 1 o'clock. This time around, they have a guest speaker coming with them, Dr. Corinne Martineau, who is a community pharmacy resident for the University of Rhode Island College of Pharmacy, and the Rite Aid Pharmacy is going to be coming to visit to provide some comprehensive medication coordination and patient education, with a focus on diabetes education. So that's a freebie and a not miss for anyone who suffers from diabetes, no matter what your age is. Come join us at 1 o'clock to get some really important information. In addition to that, the visiting nurses of Bristol and Newport County will be coming to visit us, as they do the second Tuesday of every month, on Tuesday, May 12th, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. for a free blood pressure screening, an introduction to our kiosk system at the center. So that's another one of those, come on in, take a look at what we have to offer with regards to health and wellness programming. And with that, we've got our next session of Edward King House health and wellness programs, from beginners gyrokinesis to yoga to strength and flexibility and Tai Chi classes. So it's going to be time to get yourself registered for those classes as well. Again, take a look at our website to give you an idea of what's being offered at what time. We've got a trip to Washington, D.C. being planned for the month of September. And for those folks who are interested in that particular program, there is a $75 deposit that will be due on June 1st. So give us a call at 846-7426 for this wonderful event, 4 days, 3 nights, for just $349.
That's a great trip to D.C.
Absolutely.
Fascinating stuff there, yeah.
And I think lastly, we are planning our annual plant sale for June 13th. So this is a save the date, the free admission to the public. We'll have plants for sale, concessions will be available, and free demonstrations will be available as well. And we'll have more information on that when I come to see you next month.
Okay, very good.
What else, my friend? I got another one for you. So on Thursday, May 28th, we have our friend Kathy Creaney, who will be coming to talk to our worldwide travelers.
I bet it's a trip to Ireland.
It's actually a trip to a number of different places in Europe.
Well, what do I know?
Well, what do you know? There you go. So come see us. This is another free option for you, Thursday, May 28th at 11:30 a.m. To get some more information on that piece. And our new friend, attorney Laura Crone, will be joining us to provide a presentation on an introduction to elder law. I can't tell you how many questions we get on a regular basis about living wills and wills in general, and what do I do about ... and they're all legal issues when all is said and done. So Laura's going to come and do a little overview on some of the introductory things that folks should be concerned about. Again, that's Thursday, May 28th as well, but at 1 p.m. Free to anyone that would like to come with regards to that particular subject matter.
Okay. And I'll tell you something. Several years ago, when it was necessary for me to do so, and this was something I had no knowledge of, or was not even vaguely familiar with. And let me tell you something. It turned out to be very, very important. Is power of attorney.
Power of attorney.
If you're not familiar with that, you need to talk to somebody that specializes in those types of things. And
we're hoping that this will be the first in a series of presentations by Laura that will just give some basic information. When all is said and done, you're going to need a lawyer for something.
Yeah.
As time goes on, and indeed, you want to know when you're going to need that person to help you with items like power of attorney and so on. Absolutely.
But that's something that everybody should at least educate themselves in and know how the whole thing works and when it applies and so on and so forth.
That's right.
But, well, listen, before we wrap it up, Barry, anything you want to jump in with? It's amazing to me. I remember this whole Volvo Ocean Race event, which is going to be in Newport in just a few more days. It just seems like yesterday when it was 2 years off, and now all of a sudden we're right on top of it.
Here,
there's
I just found out about on the website, Volvo Ocean Race Newport.com. There's a place where you can sign up for alerts because we don't know when the first boat's going to arrive.
Yeah.
And you can get an alert a couple hours before, maybe even a day before, like you'll get it to your phone to let you know that it's coming and that the first boat is arriving. And we've got the Alphamedica, like right at the front, and these are Newport people. So not only is it coming to Newport, one of the boats is Newport.
It's our own.
And they may even be arriving first, we hope. And, I'd love to hear a siren go off in town that gives you an hour warning to get down there. But at Bike Newport, no matter what time, if it's 4 o'clock in the morning, it doesn't matter. We're going to be leaving from the Bike Newport office with a group ride down to Fort Adams to greet the first boats coming in.
That's fantastic.
That's going to be a lot of fun. So thanks for bringing that up. And I encourage everybody to sign up for those alerts. And it's a great website, VolvoOceanRaceNewport.com. You reminded me with Mother's Day, we've got in collaboration with Women Bike RI, which was started by a staff member, Liza Birkin of Bike Newport. Women Bike RI, Bike Newport, and Spokeswomen are hosting a Cyclofum women's bike ride on Mother's Day at 8:30 in the morning. Also leaving from from Bike Newport. So lots of good stuff. May is a fabulous month. It's beautiful out. The cling of that horrible winter that we all survived is finally falling, and the sun is shining, and the first cherry blossoms are out. I don't know if you saw them.
Yeah, it's just gorgeous.
Yeah, just fabulous. So it's a great time to get out there.
So get out there, folks.
Let's all get out there and enjoy.
Absolutely. And we should also point out that regardless of when the first arrivals show up in Newport from the Volvo Ocean Race, the Fort Adams Village will be opening this coming Tuesday regardless.
Absolutely. And
May 5th.
until they leave on that Sunday, I think it's May 18th, 19th.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That weekend, that Sunday is when they leave for Spain. And it's going to be a rockin' place for, however many days it is down there. A week, 10 days. So we just all need to get down there. It's free to everyone.
It's free.
It's free. And it's going to be brilliant. And it's like 100 cargo, shipping containers filled with the stuff that's been traveling around the world. The circus is coming to town, folks. This is going to be fabulous. It's going to transform the fort. And Newport is going to be the greenest, most sustainable port in the entire world race. Mm-hmm. The sustainability initiatives that are going on, the team that's taken over the sustainability aspects of this stop on this international around the world race. How exciting is this? It's going to be the most sustainable, greenest stop in the entire race, and we can credit a lot of people in town, Sail Newport and Sailors for the Sea and Bike Newport and others, all working to make this like a totally green.
We'll be talking about this for years to come.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Really looking forward to this.
Yeah.
All right. And right now we're going to stop talking about everything because we're out of time. But listen, Barry Freeman, Bike Newport, thank you so much. Continued success. Keep up the great work. And Carm, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
And we'll do this again next month. How's that sound?
See you in June.
All right.